I'm Jessica Short and this is Just Causes. We're a program about advocates, activists and campaigners committed to positive change. They fly the Jolly Roger and their methods are controversial, but the Sea Shepherds are probably the world's best known maritime activists. After 3 months at sea saving whales, now they're turning their attention to the needless slaughter of sharks.
If something's wrong and something's illegal, you don't hold a sign and say, please stop. You actually get out there and do something about it. It's the same if you saw a dog being beaten or you saw a woman being raped. You don't hold a sign and say, please stop. You actually get in and intervene, and that's what Sea Shepherd does.
Over the course of 35 years, Sea Shepherd has embarked on more than 200 voyages to protect marine wildlife and the destruction of ocean habitats. The most recent whaling campaign, Divine Winds, saved in excess of 860 whales from slaughter by Japanese whaling fleets hunting within the Antarctic sanctuary.
We're confident that each year we go down there we're hurting them economically, and our mission has always been to sink them economically because we're speaking the language that they understand, which is, profit and loss.
The can-do approach of Sea Shepherd is what attracted Jeff Hansen to the organisation and convinced him to leave his high-paying job and dedicate his life to conservation work.
I always wanted to make a difference, but I couldn't sort of find an organisation that was actually really on the front lines doing something until one day I was in Melbourne and I came across this black ship and I went on board and I saw a video of what these guys do, and I was just, even now I get emotional thinking about it. Just, knots in my stomach and aggression, but tears in my eyes, and I thought, I've got to make this part of my life. Yeah, I saw it this morning.
I'd been volunteering for a number of different charities before, but there was just something about this one that I felt that it was really motivated toward the cause, and just their direct action techniques I thought were just so unique. I just wanted to be part of it.
Sea Shepherd is a non-profit organisation relying entirely on public donations and volunteers like Lisa Rossi.
I'm also active within the local Perth chapter, and I get involved with the monthly outreach stalls, shaking tins, talking to people, also doing beach cleanups and anything we can do on a local level to create awareness and draw attention to the cause.
After tackling treacherous conditions in Antarctica, one of the Sea Shepherd's vessels, Bridget Bardot, was damaged by rough seas and is now docked in Fremantle undergoing repairs. Boats in the Sea Shepherd fleet are all named after dedicated animal activists.
We're involved with Bridget Bardot, who's also an animal advocate, so she's heavily involved with us, and we named the vessel after her in honour of her, basically. The vessel now has been involved with about 5 campaigns, and I believe our next campaign might be a shark finning campaign.
The Bridget Bardot's manager, Simon Ager, lives on board the vessel and is keen to get the ship back in the water.
Not really too sure on the destination right now. It could be Indonesia, Micronesia, or we may go Pacific route, which is Galapagos and Cocos Islands.
Globally, shark populations have dropped dramatically over the past 30 years. Sea Shepherd are concerned with what impact the loss of sharks will have on everyone.
Basically, the sharks are being hunted all over the world, in all sorts of, whether it's marine sanctuaries or shark sanctuaries, they're being targeted for their fin. It's, shark finning industry is now, second to drug running.
Shark fins can fetch more than $150 per kilogram. With shark meat far less valuable, the fins are removed and the sharks are dumped back in the ocean where they drown or bleed to death.
If we lose sharks from our ocean, that's a dead ocean, and that's end of civilization as far as we know.
With us here today are Lisa Rossi from Sea Shepherd Society and activist Jared McKenna from World Vision. Welcome to Just Causes.
Thanks, mate.
Now Lisa, as an onshore volunteer, Is your ultimate goal to get onto a ship and go out on a campaign?
I suppose it's the ultimate goal for all volunteers. It's what we work for every day. However, I was really lucky to fulfil my dream this past Christmas, and I was one of the crew members on board the Steve Irwin. I never thought that was going to happen in a million years, so the fact that it did, I've had to set up a whole new series of goals for myself. And being a marketer and a fundraiser in my own job, if so to speak, it's actually really important for me that I can bring that to Sea Shepherd. So right now I'm really focused on bringing in money, support and creating awareness for the organisation.
Jared, you're involved in a lot of different causes and campaigns. What is your ultimate goal, like personal goal or work goal?
Yeah, Martin Luther King talked about in the last year of his life that a new world is emerging. The Indian poet Arundhati Roy, she talks about that another world is possible, and then she adds, on a quiet day I can hear her breathing. And I guess for me it's living into that emerging new world of justice, peace and joy, living into that new world that on a quiet day we can actually start to hear breathe.
So what was it about World Vision that made you want to join up?
A persuasive offer from my now boss, Tim Costello. So I have huge respect for Tim and his work and witness. So for me, Tim approaching me and offering the job that he did and the possibilities for working for change was quite exciting.
Right, so what is your role at World Vision?
World Vision Australia's National Advisor for Youth, Faith and Activism. So where campaigning meets the grassroots theological work and in particular how that applies to young people. So young people wanting to actually work for a more just and more peaceful world, we get to put that in action.
Right. And Lisa, what would you say to people who believe that Sea Shepherd's methods are a bit extreme?
Look, I feel concerned and I can understand where that comes from. Certainly if you look at our logo, it's not exactly the friendliest thing that people see. But Sea Shepherd was formed over 35 years ago by our founder, Captain Paul Watson, and during that whole time, throughout our history, we've never had a single person harmed or killed in the name of what we do, and we're really proud of that. Our volunteers are from all walks of life, doctors, lawyers, dentists, people like myself who work in the corporate sector as well, and we wouldn't have the people on board supporting us if we had such a bad reputation, if that was going to be the end result. We do what we do to make a statement and save the oceans. We believe we're doing the right thing, and if any of us felt that our own lives were in danger, then we wouldn't be doing that.
Yep. So do you think that Sea Shepherd is represented fairly in the media?
I think I personally do. We probably get more support than a lot of other charities out there, and probably because we just rely on public support. We don't get any sort of public government funding at all, and whenever we put the call out there for some notice that we want to get out or a message we get out, we get that feedback as well. If anything, it's more the internal problems we have within the country with politicians and other groups who are trying to stop us from what we do. But in terms of the media, they're always very welcoming to us, and we're very grateful for what they've done for us here in this country.
Right. So Jared, how do you go about spreading your message with World Vision and just your own personal agenda as well?
Yeah, Gandhi is often misquoted as saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. He was actually waxing lyrical on a quote from Tolstoy. But what it is to actually embody the hope that you have, instead of imposing it on others, to actually live into something and invite people into it. So for us, we live out in Lockridge. We live as a community that share in common a different economic model together. We run a community garden, we teach permaculture, but we also practice hospitality, and that's a base for our activism. So all the stuff that I'm doing, whether it's in Palestine or in Albania or in Indonesia, has a base in what I live at home with my beautiful wife, boy and community.
Right, all right. So Jared and Lisa, thank you very much for being part of Just Causes.
Thank you very much.
Here's a chilling statistic. Every day across the world, 25,000 children die from preventable diseases. One group of Perth Uni students hopes to do something about that. David Hawkes and his chiropractic classmates from Murdoch are off to India to provide urgent care to kids in desperate need. For Just Causes, I'm Jessica Short.
Hands on India is a student initiative run out of Murdoch University School of Chiropractic and Sports Science. where we send fourth year students to Siliguri in northeast India every year to go and treat the local populace up there. So we have the skull would normally sit up here, 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic vertebrae, 5 lumbars, and then we have the pelvis. I wanted to become a chiropractor because I had a good experience with a chiropractor when I was younger. It seemed to me to be a better way to go about helping people than say physio or medicine or anything else that I come into contact with. I think that the Hands on India project is going to be really good this year for me and my classmates. I think it's going to help us to learn and grow as not just as clinicians but as people. So yeah, while I'm over there I expect to be just humbled and come back appreciating how cool Perth is and how great my life here is. Quite a few of the children down there by the riverbanks, that's their job, is to be a rock breaker. So what they'll do is from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, they'll break rocks by the riverbank. A lot of them will have been doing this since they were 2 or 3 years old, and if their job is to break these rocks and fill up an old army dump truck, fill them every single day, and if they don't fill the dump truck then they don't get paid. We'll be getting there about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll treat right through till about 5 or 6, 7 o'clock at night. And all that we're going to do is just treat as many people as we can, help as many people as we can.
Well, David's a classic example. You know, he's just a great kid. You know, his heart's in the right place. He's willing to get up. He's been involved heavily in the fundraising so far, and he just wants to become the best chiropractor he possibly can.
These are pictures we've taken. The best part of going to India, you'll see patients you will never ever see in Australia. So the experience is going to be phenomenal when you come back. I mean, you only got to look at this gentleman here. Look at the size of the scoliosis. It's a gross scoliosis, to put it mildly.
So I am Hands on India's 2012's treasurer. So essentially I'm in charge of finance coming in and out and of the various accounts. We have a trust fund account that's technically run through Murdoch University, but I keep an eye on that as well as our own bank account. Part of our funding that we're fundraising for also goes towards things like giving them basic first aid care, some fresh water, fresh drinking water. Our fundraising money also goes towards buying them land so that they can build schools.
Arms up like this. Yeah, good. Head back. Good. Head back. Good, eyes closed.
Dave, as treasurer, I know he's really taking on his role well. He's managed to register the Hands on India group and get us $1,000 as well in advance, so he's definitely lifting his weight, doing really well.
I know a lot of us have said that we'll easily clear the average.
I met Dave this year for the first time, and he's a really easygoing guy. He's a nice guy, he's genuine, and yeah, I think he's just an all-round good bloke.
When I get to India, I just expect to be humbled by the people there and the living conditions there. I was just talking to some people who went last year, the year before. I talked to one girl who said that she cried every single day from the patients and the stories that she got told about these people and how they live. Being able to give something back to people who just have absolutely nothing, who are just living off less than $1 a day. It just seems like this incredible experience to, like, in terms of like just growing as a person and going completely out of your comfort zone, as well as a clinical experience of going to somewhere where you're going to see like just crazy stuff.
Chase, are you ready for today?
I'm ready for today, man. I think there's enough people.
I expect to be deeply satisfied by just the act of caring for another person and showing compassion to another person. Everyone's just so thankful and everyone's happy, and kids start yelling and screaming and stuff when they see you roll in. So yeah, I guess I expect to see lots of happy people, or people that are happy that we're there.